apart from being, a city or a society, Zion also can refer to the pure in heart. So, or as we refer to it, Zion individuals, because you cannot have Zion as a society if you do not have Zion individuals.
Yep.
You have to have the pure in heart first, and they make up Zion. They make up the covenant members of that society.
Well, and this equation that we're pointing out here goes perfectly along with what we talk about today in the government today. People want the government to change. They want the government to do better, to act more righteously. And what do we always say? Well, you have to start with the individual. Until individuals in the country are righteous, the government's never going to change. Well, Zion's the same. It's not going to be any different until individuals live the Zion society.
Bottom-up approach.
Yes. Until individuals live that society and are capable of acting on those righteous attributes, you're never going to have Zion, the place, established. It's just not going to happen. And we'll see that in Doctrine and Covenants. The Lord himself alludes to that.
Now, Zion is Zion because of the character, attributes, and faithfulness of her citizens. If we would establish Zion in our homes, branches, boards, and stakes, we must rise to this standard. It will be necessary to become unified in one heart and one mind, to become individually and collectively a holy people, and to care for the poor and needy with such effectiveness that we eliminate poverty among us. Then here's the key. We cannot wait until Zion comes for these things to happen. Zion will come only as they happen. So this Elder Christofferson from his talk, Come to Zion. But that's exactly what we were just saying. Like, we are responsible for building Zion, and we are responsible for becoming that choice people that Joseph Smith referred to.
Yeah.
We have to build it, and we have to prepare the earth to receive its king. That's our calling, and we do that by preparing ourselves individually.
Yeah.
And then Zion as a society is going to be a natural consequence and outflowing of that. As you can clearly see the three things that are necessary here, being one heart, one mind, being a holy people, and then caring for the poor and needy with effectiveness. This clearly ties into our covenants, to the temple pointing us to this higher patriarchal order through certain higher laws that we have to learn to live. And all of that, again, as we apply the temple individually, that's the way that we establish Zion on the earth.
And that point 3, for me, until we really did a deep dive into this a while back and really started to understand, like, what does Zion really mean?
Point 3, the care for the poor and the needy.
Care for the poor and needy, but with such effectiveness that we eliminate poverty among us. And that concept is so radical, and it's so transformative. And what we start to realize as we start to understand Zion and what's intended to be built, if we can start to change our perspective on how we look at all of the wealth, all of the things, all of the consumerism that Babylon has given us, this idea of caring for the poor and needy, of eliminating poverty, which today seems impossible, like this will never happen. But we start to understand that at least in Zion, that can happen. Now, that doesn't mean in the world will there always be poor and needy. Even Christ said, the poor will always be among you. But I think what Elder Christofferson is alluding to, that in Zion, if Zion is going to be built because of the way in which people have willingly chosen to live, there will not be poverty because of the way in which people give the attributes they have, the charity they perform, and the way that the economic system is organized. And we'll talk about
And we're talking about the Law of Consecration.
Yeah.
We're talking about social programs or church welfare programs, in essence, right? This is all part of that.
Yeah.
So there's actually elements of this that are already in place and already exist and are already functioning. And we just, if you take that kind of false notion of utopia as what you're expecting Zion to be, you might not be even noticing that these things are already being put into place.
Right.
This framework's there.